waiting. It's like, I don't have to do anything. Just we can all sit. Where's that? Well, welcome to this day. I have to tell you, like, I'm super excited to be here, and to be with everyone here. You know, there's so much that I want to say about how I feel right now that I'll see if I even get to my talk. It might not happen, and that's fine. But you know, because we're always operating in the present, right? Here is where we are, and of course, we bring our whole life to this moment. We bring everything right here and now. So sometimes when you want to say something, instead, what you're confronted with is like the right now, like what is happening right now. And you know, what's happening right now is such like an amazing thing. That's what's happening. You know, I ran my own temple for 3 years, right? So I was the only clergy member there, so I was always doing the talks, right? And you know, we take these things for granted, this space, these people, you know, and I know that you guys don't take it for granted because you're aware of what all this means. But after running my own place for, you know, a couple of years, I took a break from it, and I'm now able to kind of be part of a group instead of leading a group, which these people barely know anything about, you know, because they're always up here, you know. But what I'm saying is that this place, these people, it is absolutely special. And I know you know that. That's why you're here. Why else would you get up on a Sunday morning and come here? But to be in a place like this, when you hear people doing the Heart Sutra and how meaningful that is, you know, like when you do that every week with a group, sometimes it just becomes like the thing you do. And then every once in a while it hits you. Like, this is what we think. This is our life. This is our practice. These words, this chant, and the group saying it together, that is Zen, right? That experience, you know, no you, no me, no self, no other. It's this chant coming together. And you can forget in the moment when we're doing that chant, oh, everybody doesn't do this chant every week, you know? We all work or live in the world outside of these four walls, and we know that people don't have this chant, you know. But I think that everyone in here, in this room, that was the first time you heard that Heart Sutra, I bet it hit you hard, you know. I think a lot of times, you know, it's one of the reasons why we still come, why we're here, because there's something in those words that sounds right. There's something in those words that sounds true. And all the no, 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 no. I love it. It's supposed to like smack you. It's supposed to like wake you up. It's supposed to shake you a little bit. But I love all the no's because all the no's are saying yes. That's what they're saying. You know? In emptiness, all the no's mean no, no, that's too simple. It's expansive. It's huge, right? So when we talk about emptiness, that means, you know, just to make up a word for it, we could call it everythingness. That's not abrupt enough. That doesn't shake you enough, but that's what it is. You know, no eye, no ear. It's like, it's saying it's because the eye is everything, because the thought is everything. It's everything. So, you know, to be here is very special. And, you know, so I thank you all for being here, because without you, there is no Muddy Water Zen. It wouldn't exist, and there'd be no purpose for it. So your presence, your financial contributions, that's this place. That's the future. It's the present. It's all those things. So for anybody to be here, for all of us to be here, it's actually a gift to each other, you know, and like you guys are sitting here like I am, but like I haven't been sitting here, right? So to be here, I get a little outsider's view, and I can really appreciate this, because this doesn't happen everywhere. How many communities in Michigan or cities in this area, they don't have a temple. They don't have a place to go, you know. So this is a rare and beautiful thing. And it's rare and beautiful because of you, you know. And it's evident, right, how much this man means to this group. Like you can just see it. Like these people are like full of love, and I have to assume you are too, because that's why you're here, right? Oh yeah, and to deal with suffering, and being a human being, and trying to make our way through this life, whatever it is. But so I really appreciate it, and that's my talk. I'm done. No, I'm just kidding. So I do like to talk, and I assume a familiarity that isn't there. Like that's what we were talking about last night. Like I'm just like, you people know me, right? I'll just talk like I talk, but I know you don't. No, you don't know me. But I do like to talk through stories. Like that's the Zen tradition. It is a face-to-face communication through stories and history and togetherness, essentially. Us now and the people out in the world that will see this on CNN and everything else. But, so I will, I'll start out with a story real quick. But like I like to put the end right at the beginning. Like what is the point of me trying to say anything today? What's my attempt? So like the summary is, I'll give it to you now, right? A thought is a thought. That's the summary, right? It's so simple, and it's like anything. Whatever the simple thing is, you could spend your life thinking about that simple thing. And then, kind of like a side note is, maybe not. That's the second one, But underneath all of that, underneath a thought is a thought, and maybe not. And I'm talking about your thinking there. What is underneath all of that is what is, talked about over and over. It's like your essential nature is already pure. Like remember that. Like know that. Know that first, right? Isn't that great to know that you don't have any problems because you're essentially pure? We're all set. Everything's fine. But it is true, and we just have to work to see that. Like it's already there waiting for us. Like we just have to undo our thinking and undo our karmic roots and whatever kind of crap we have going on. All we have to do is undo that. Like we don't create the purity. It is there. We just go, oh, I just got in my way again. And now that I've moved out of the way, here it is again, the purity. So this first story is, I'll get the name wrong, so I'll give you the English version. It's called Wonderful and Marvelous Sutra. Do you know this one? Has anybody heard of it? Me either. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything. But the Sanskrit name of it is, and I'll get this wrong, but I'll tell you, for the people that want to know, is Akariya Abhuta Sutta. So I'll give you the summary. The Buddha is meditating, so all of his, monks and all of his, good friends are out there talking and hanging out because they don't want to, like, that guy's meditating, let's give him some space. And so they're talking, and all they're talking about is, like, how amazing he is. Like, all of the miraculous things that he can do. Do you know this story? I feel like you do. You're getting that smile, like maybe you know. So, do you? Yes, he does. Okay, so they're all talking about like how awesome the Buddha is. Like he is amazing. He, like he's their superhero. He has all these special powers and amazing gifts. And so he gets done meditating. He comes over and he's like, "What's up, guys? What are you talking about?" And they're like, "You, how awesome you are." And he's like, "Oh, well, let me hear what you're saying." And so they're talking about all of these miraculous things. And so like, if you want to take these things literally, that's your prerogative, like however people feel about this. But, I'll read some of the examples of like how what they're talking about, like how far they're going as far as like how amazing he is. But this is talking about when he was born. And he says, when the Bodhisattva came forth from his mother's womb, then a great immeasurable light surpassing the splendor of the gods appeared in the world with its gods, its Maras, its Brahmas, in this generation with its recluses and Brahmins, with its princes and people, and it's going on. And he like walks out. He like walks out. He's born walking, and there's like flowers raining down and like lightning is shooting out and everything is just like, and this sutra, right? It's like, pages of like amazing thing. Like you think the guy can like fly around in the sky. And they did say when he was born, there's like these jets of water in the sky shooting hot water and cold water, it's amazing. And so the Buddha, he says, that's great, but you know what else is amazing? And this is what he says. He basically goes, put your hands in hot, Jeong. That being so, Ananda, remember this too as a wonderful and marvelous quality of the Tathagata, the Buddha. So he says all those things are wonderful, but listen to this. For the Tathagata, feelings are known as they arise, as they are present, as they disappear. Perceptions are known as they arise, as they are present, as they disappear. And here's the thought. Thoughts are known as they arise, as they are present, as they disappear. Remember this too, Ananda, as a wonderful and marvelous quality of the Tathagata. So he's like, you think all that's amazing? This is what's really amazing. I know a thought is a thought. As it arises, as it passes away, and as the Buddha, doesn't get stuck, which is where I live my life, in stuck, slightly out of the flow a lot of the times, getting stuck through my thinking, right? There's no problem. There's a situation, but my thinking gets me bound, it's in bondage in that moment. And so for me, when I hear that, when I see that, the Buddha spends a lot of time talking about thought because this is where we live, in our thoughts. We create the entire world every moment in our mind, and then we take that out and do what we want with it for good or for bad. But when I hear this, a thought is a thought. He knows it as it arises and it goes. And that is as marvelous as any other one of these miracles. Like he doesn't even address them, like whether that's true or false or real or not. He's like, let me tell you what this is about. This is about you and your mind. And so for me, I'm thinking about this because like my practice is words and phrases. Like what can I get that I can work with? What can I take out of this as a short phrase? And just work with that for a week or so or whatever, just till I, get it in me to explore it, right? So like the written word, it's super important. Zen is always like, don't worry about the words. And what they mean is, don't get stuck on the words. Yeah, you better know them. You better learn them. They're going to help you out, but don't let them get you stuck. But yes, they're important. So I try to work with some word or phrase. And why I was thinking about this week is because this week, like I had an experience of peace, right? Which is like freedom. That's what that is. And what I was trying to do, I was trying to control a situation. And for a good reason, right? Like I was trying to control the situation because I was trying to guide somebody, my daughter, right? So I know what's best, I think, and I want to help her. And she's 16, so I don't know what you were like at 16. I know what I was like. But anyway, so, I think I have the answers, and I'm living in fear because I want the best. Like I want the best for everybody, like whoever you are, but I'm more invested in her, So I have some fear just about like, not because of like behaviors of like, oh, she's a bad kid, but it's just like, you're trying to set your kids into their future and like, oh, I hope I did a good job. I hope they can function, and be productive and most importantly, happy. And, I meditated and there was just like that instant release where it's just like, you are stuck in thinking that the future will be this way. So I was caught up in a thought, and I just thought, maybe it's not like that. Maybe it won't be like that. Maybe that's just my fear. And it's like immediately like that release, when you can let go of that feeling. And that's my situation, but we all have that situation. You have anxiety, you have fear, you have jealousy, you have whatever you have. Whatever the thing is that you're working with, the work of your life in the moment. We all have those things. That was my thing. And I was bound up in that thought. And when I realized that I took something that wasn't real, and I made it real. I manifested it into my body in the form of stress and worry and not sleeping. I made it real. It was just a thought. A thought is a thought. They just come and go. Don't I know? Don't I know? Isn't that what they tell us? The first time we ever meditate, it's like, hey, thoughts are going to come up. Guess what? You don't have to think about them. I mean, you can if you want, but you don't have to. You don't have to identify with the thought in that moment. That's the training. Don't identify with your thoughts. It's like a little trick, right? Stay in the moment, stay focused, stay present. Don't pay attention to the thought. The reason why you do that is because it's like what we're being taught, right? Is like you never have to identify with the thought. You know, in meditation, we set them aside. Let's not get caught. Let's not get caught. The purpose is because the teaching is we are not our thoughts. We're gonna turn our thoughts into our lives, but we are not that thought. We are not that feeling. We're not that perception. We're not those things. Why aren't we those things? Two reasons. Well, one is because it's obvious that those are not us, because they're changing. They're not permanent. They're given to us. They're absorbed by us. They protect us. All those things, you know? Like, it makes sense, you know? But the second reason why a thought is not a thought is just a thought and is not us is because it's too limited. The thought is too small. It's too tight. It's bound up. That is not what the way is. That's not what the practice is. That's not what life is. Life flows. We're not here to block it up, but I do. But then I have a practice and I can undo. And so in that moment when I let go of the little release, you know, I learn the lesson again, which is like, oh, there's expansive freedom and peace here now. And I didn't create it. I just got out of the way. I just stopped getting in the way. It's like the clouds parting. It's like, yeah, the sun's pretty much always up there. Still up there, you know. But the cloud of my mind, you know, blocks that purity, that sun, you know. And I go, oh, I didn't create the peace. I am the peace. I actually am. Like we all are. We all have that. So it was a reminder of why this practice makes sense, why this practice is helpful, why it's good, why in that moment of practice you go, oh, the Buddha always said, hey, you don't have to believe me, just try it. And then you try it and you go, it worked. Good job, Buddha. Thank you for helping me out once again. And so we resonate with this practice, and you know, as every day goes on, as the experiences, you know, stack up, we get more chances to see, to understand, and then we can be the help to other people. We can be the help to ourselves. We can be better human beings, you know. We can come here, support this place, support each other. And, oh my gosh, I didn't even get to my real talk, but it's like 11. So what I'm going to do is we're going to just keep going on through for another hour. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. I just do want to read just like a brief couple of passages from the Platform Sutra, because this is really, you know, really talking about thinking and thought. And it's, again, a bunch of like no's, no. So it goes, good friends, this Dharma teaching of ours has proclaimed no thought as its doctrine, no form as its body, no attachment as its foundation. What do we mean by a form that is not a form, that is no form? It means to be free of form in the presence of forms. That means you don't run away from life, you know. You don't get caught up while you're in the middle of it. In the middle of it, you recognize it, you live with it, it transforms you, you change it, it changes you. We don't avoid in this practice, we sit in it. No thought means to not think about thoughts. And that means do not attach to yourself. Do not attach to thoughts as your identity. Bigger than that, more expansive than that. And no attachment, which is everyone's basic nature. Thought after thought, not to become attached, whether it's a past thought, a present thought, or a future thought. Let one thought follow another without interruption. Once one thought becomes attached, every thought becomes attached, which is what we call bondage. But when you go from thought to thought without becoming attached to any Dharma, there is no bondage. This is why no attachment is our foundation. Thank you. So, and, further he says, don't block the flow. Your thinking is where the afflictions live, right? When we can see them, we don't have to beat ourselves up. We just see them, oh, there they go. And then we are in the flow again. And I always thought I wasn't sure how I felt about people saying in the flow, and it's it's been in there. It's a Zen teaching to be in the flow, to not block it up. It's already present, it's already with us. Our original nature is pure, and our original nature is us, right? So thank you so much for letting me talk to you. I love talking. It really gives me a chance to spend time with stuff that I love to look at. It's I'm busy. I have to prepare a talk. Need to read through this stuff. And it's really nice because, what's the best thing about being a Buddhist is you can read Buddhist stuff. So thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me talk. Thank you, Heido Sunam, for letting me stay with you, and everybody for being so kind and welcoming and great. Good job.
More than welcome.
Thank you.